Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm excited to share with you the fragrances that I wore this week. Now, I don't have that many because I was sick for about a 2-week period, and during that time I couldn't smell. So I don't think it was COVID, but it was like a severe sinus thing. I've had it a couple times recently, and I realized how much I love sniffing perfumes when all of a sudden I can't do it. So I'll go to put a perfume on and I can't smell it, and it actually feels so sad. So being sick has really given me an appreciation, or a greater appreciation, just for the olfactory sense in general, and how much enjoyment there is in being able to smell the foods you eat, to smell the fragrances, to smell other fragrances that other people are wearing, whatever it is. I realized how much joy I get in that. So I'm really thankful, and I'm thankful that I am slowly getting my ability to smell back. So I can't wait to share these fragrances with you. But before I do, if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Just go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. And if you already are a part of the community, thank you so much for your ongoing support. You guys are amazing. And without further ado, let's get into this. So the first fragrance I have for you is called Tardis by Carner Barcelona, I believe, or Carne. I think it would be Carner Barcelona. So this fragrance was kind of the bust for the week. I didn't like this one as much. Now I'm going to read you the notes and then I'll talk about the fragrance. So this one has almond, Brazilian rosewood, rose, and geranium in the opening. In the middle it has plum, Virginia cedar, and celery. And then the base has heliotrope, tonka bean, and musk. Now for whatever reason, it's not like this is a bad perfume. It's actually rather sophisticated. It's got decent longevity. I smell it on the cap. I really enjoy it. But for me, it's just more woody with a little hint of powder than I prefer. So I don't get as much rose as I do the woods. But the rose does come out, and I find it just slightly sharp. So this one, it's nice, but it's not my style. So sometimes I'll find that where there's a fragrance and I can recognize the beauty in the fragrance, I can recognize the sophistication, the notes blend together really beautifully, but for whatever reason, this is a pass for me. It just doesn't suit my personality, doesn't make me joyful, it's just nice. So for that reason, this would be one that I would pass on. But if you like woods, definitely check this one out. You get a little hint of that almond and then the woodiness, but for me there's another one that has kind of almond and woodiness that I just think is so much nicer than this one that I'm going to talk about. So Tardis was a bit of a bust for me. Now the next fragrance that I'm absolutely in love with is called Anik 6 by 8 and Bob. Now what a weird name, 8 and Bob. They've got tons of perfumes out. I am in love with this fragrance. So this fragrance, the primary note that I get throughout the whole entire wear of the perfume is cinnamon. Cinnamon is a major player, and right now cinnamon and me just get along really well. You know what? I think a cinnamon and cherry fragrance would be delectable. I want to create it, a cherry cinnamon fragrance, maybe with a little bit of chocolate in there, but primarily boozy cherry cinnamon tobacco. Oh, it would be amazing. For this fragrance, the note that I get primarily is that cinnamon, and it's absolutely delectable. In the top, it has Szechuan pepper, bergamot, and carnation. Now, I don't really notice any of those specific notes. Again, it's mainly that cinnamon, but there is like a sweetness on the top, which I guess would be the bergamot. A little bit of that fruity kind of, just a soft kind of, like I wouldn't say citrus per se, but like it just lends itself to a little bit of brightness in the opening. And in the middle, you get that cinnamon, there's rose oil and amber, and I'm telling you, this is so delectable and delicious. Like I love that middle. And then the base is sandalwood, benzoin, and labdanum. Now, like I said, get a little bit of bright kind of sweetness from that bergamot. I notice the cinnamon more than any sort of pepper or anything of that nature, but definitely that spicy quality is for sure there. I don't even notice that much rose, but there is that rose combination, but it's not a heavy rose. So sometimes, you know, you'll get fragrances that are spicy mixed with rose and a wood, and it comes across as kind of that typical rose oud combination. This isn't like this. This is a lot fresher on the top. And then the cinnamon and rose just perfectly blended. The rose kind of just coming in to balance out that cinnamon so it doesn't get too spicy. And then what I get is that sandalwood in particular coming out in the end. But like I said, that cinnamon sticks around. This is like Christmas in a bottle. Like, it feels so cozy, warm. It's very delicious. This one is absolutely unisex. I find this one really sexy. But I don't find it so like spicy that you could only wear it in the evening or it being kind of a dress up fragrance. To me, this is one that you could wear all the time, has a beautiful kind of sillage or scent bubble, and I'm just in love with it. So I'm kind of curious now about other 8 & Bob fragrances. They've got a whole collection, but this Anik 6, so good. If you've tried it, weigh in the comments, tell me what you think. I think some people, like, if you don't like cinnamon, you got to stay away from this one because the cinnamon is super prominent, but I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, the next fragrance I tried was Rosé All Day by Gallagher Fragrances. Now, this one, I think actually Spicy Looks gave me this, Nisha from Spicy Looks, so thank you very much. It's got a similar scent profile. I'm not saying it's a dupe or smells exactly the same, but it's in the same genre as an Angel Share, so there's definitely that boozy apple component to Rosé All Day. So if you really enjoy that boozy apple, you may really love this one. I actually think I may prefer this one over Angel Share, but I'm not quite sure. I'd have to do a real good comparison between the two. But this one is pretty. There's a long list of notes, so I'm just going to read them. So it has dried apple crisp, honey, plum, brown sugar, Turkish rose, patchouli, vanilla tonka bean, metallic notes, labdanum, Australian sandalwood, and white musk. Now, what I get in this one, I definitely get that honey component. It's slightly, like ever so slightly animalic. Definitely get that dried apples feel. What this comes across to me as is kind of a boozy apple. I think it's because of the honey that smells slightly indolic, so it almost smells like apples that have been sitting for way too long and they've started to ferment just kind of in their own juices. So they're kind of rotting, and then that juice, now I find rotting apple smell not unpleasant. So, but there is that kind of indolic quality in this one to me that lends itself to kind of like apples that are fermenting that are going to become apple cider. Definitely get that apple, boozy apple, but with that honey component for sure. That makes it feel slightly indolic. I definitely get the rose in this as well. And it's very sweet. I don't notice any metallic notes or anything. It smells to me like a straight up kind of boozy apple gourmand. So if you like that kind of fragrance, you're gonna like this one. If you like apple share or fragrances of that nature, this one is gonna be up your alley for sure. I'm kind of on the fence. I find the boozy apple note, like I really like drinking apple ciders. I think that they're delicious, but smelling it on me, I'm not sure I love it. But that said, I kind of find it addictive at the same time. So yeah, this one's an interesting one. If you've smelt this one, weigh in. I would say as far as sophistication, I don't really consider this overly sophisticated. If you like grown-up gourmands, this would be definitely up your alley. I don't think it smells like some people weighed in like just looking on Fragrantica. I think some people would say, oh, this is like an apple pie fragrance. I don't find it apple pie-y. It doesn't smell like baking. It smells like apple booze, if that makes sense, with some rose in there. Very sweet, but not too sweet. I don't find this cloying, but I can see that some people might. So, another one like it's in the same, like it definitely leans more angel share because of the apple, but it's got about the same type of sweetness as something like Rose's Vanille by Mascara. Kind of has that same like level of sweetness would be in this one. I think what could potentially make this one cloying for some is that honey component. So the honey definitely adds that slight indolic quality, but because it's sweet, I can see that some people might find it cloying. I personally don't, but that's just my thoughts. If you smelt this one, weigh in on this one as well, because I think people want to hear about it. So Anik 6 would be my favorite potentially, but this one is a close second, and it may be actually my favorite of the week. And it is Myrrh Tonka by Jo Malone. Actually, this is my favorite. I love Anik 6. I love that cinnamon, like love, love, love it. But this one, this is sensual, it's cozy, it's sophisticated, it's just delectable. So the top note in this one is lavender, and I get that lavender, but it's not like a lavender like in Libre or like in Mon Guerlain. That one tends to be a little bit more like your typical herbaceous lavender. To me, this one smells like a slightly vanillic lavender, slightly powdery, but you definitely get that lavender hit in the opening, but it's soft and it's very, to me, very feminine feeling. In the middle, you get Myrrh. Now I find Myrrh to be kind of sweet and resinous. This would lean a little bit more sweet. It's not overly balsamic or anything like that. Some people find Myrrh to be very medicinal. I don't find it medicinal in this. I just find it somehow delectable. Maybe it's because I'm smelling that less than the base notes, which are vanilla, tonka bean, and almond. There's a softness with this. I definitely get the almond. I just think it's beautiful. I feel like it's cozy feeling. I think it's perfect for the cooler weather, although I can see being able to wear this even in the heat because I don't find it overly heavy. But I just love this. I definitely get that almond. It feels like a soft kind of cloud-like fragrance. It's almost got, like I wouldn't say creamy, but I would say almost a lactonic or milky feel somehow, almost as if this had, like, you know, almond milk that's been sweetened with vanilla. It somehow gives me a bit of that feel, or even like somehow a really mild chai tea with lots of cream in it and a little hint of spice. That's somehow how this registers for me. I love the almond in it. I love the lavender. I love the myrrh. As far as that myrrh is concerned, less medicinal, but I can see that if you pick up on that medicinal aspect, especially with the lavender and myrrh mixed together, that it may be, it may register as medicinal to you. To me, it just smells so sophisticated. It smells luxurious. I really, really love when fragrances have notes like lavender in them because there's that essential oil kind of component to them. It adds a bit of sophistication to the fragrance. I find this one smells very luxurious. I love, love, love the way the vanilla and the tonka bean and almond mix together. It's just, it's so, so good, like so good. So this one, the other thing I find with this one is it's super relaxing. So I can see wanting to wear this one to bed just because it's that relaxing, it's just wonderful. So highly, highly recommend this. It lasts a really good amount of time as well. Yeah, I absolutely love this one. Actually, I'm going to say that this is my favorite. Like, these are loners from Hesse. So this would be definitely on the wish list, but this is higher up on the wish list because this one's great, but this one is, like, honestly, I think it's spectacular. So really, really love Myrrh Tonka by Jo Malone. Overall, really love Anik 6, really love Myrrh Tonka. I would pass completely on Tardis and Rosé All Day. It wouldn't be on my wish list, but I can see it being actually the most popular out of all of these because of that apple that boozy apple component, I can see a lot of people wanting to go for it. So anyway, that was my experience for the week. Have you tried any of these? If you do, weigh in. What was your hit for the week? This was my hit for the week. Oh my goodness, I'm in love with it. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.